Good evening. You are joining with Business Today on ChannelEye. And on this program, as you are well aware, what we do is we invite great personalities, those who are in business and those who are entrepreneurs, those who are governing great organizations out there to discuss business and how, as a country, we can withstand and also uplift the standards of our business within the country and also while outreaching to the outer banks of the world when it comes to business. So stay tuned with us to get inspired. We know that successful stories has to be always heard from successful personalities. That is exactly why we have invited a personality here in the studio today to discuss about their success and how it has been over the lifetime when it comes to their growth and how their growth has impacted on certain businesses out there. Let's go take a look and see who this great personality is today. Mr. Harsha Jayatunga currently functions as the CEO of Sierra Cables PLC and Director CEO of Sierra Industries Private Limited. Mr. Jayatunga brings him with 2 decades of wide range of experiences across financial management, taxation, administration, logistics, supply chain, project management, sales and marketing and operations disciplines predominantly in construction, property development, real estate, telecommunication and manufacturing sectors. Under his leadership, Sierra Cables PLC achieved its highest ever turnover and profits, and its all financial key performance indicators were improved to an admirable level. The company's credit rating was revised to AA by Fitch Ratings, which is 6 notches higher than its previous level. Sierra Cables PLC was able to win the silver at the CA Sri Lanka 55th Annual Report Awards for the category of manufacturing companies with turnover up to 5 billion rupees and was awarded the Best Manufacturer of the Year large category at the South Asia Business Excellence Award. Well, there you go. Now you know the personality in the studio, and he's sitting right next to me. This is Mr. Harsha Jayatunga, CEO of Sierra Cables. Welcome to the program. Great to have you on board. So as a great personality, I would like to ask you, you being one of those, as a CEO's point of view, because Sierra Cables is a company that we are well aware of. That the company resonates in our head whenever we think about cables and infrastructure that have been built. From the CEO's point of view, who has lifted the company so much, so high, what's your definition of Sierra Cables?
If you take the literal meaning of Sierra, like it's the range of mountains jacket with peaks.
Right.
So that's the literal meaning. It's a Spanish word. Other than that, there's no specific meaning in English for Sierra. What I see is like it's a nice rhyming word for a brand to use. So Sierra Cables. So Sierra Cables, we established our company in 1999. In 2000, we acquired Alucop Cables and merged together. Then in 2005, we went public. Though then it was one of the largest IPOs in Sri Lanka. So today we are a public quoted company.
Right.
Like in 2011, so we set up a subsidiary, fully owned subsidiary, Sierra Industries, to manufacture UPVC pipes. Then in 2015, we went across the borders and set up a plant in Kenya to exploit the opportunities in the East African region. In 2016, like we partnered with 2 Fijian companies. Fiji companies to set up a joint venture to manufacture cables and to cater to the Pacific Islands, Australia and New Zealand in that region.
Right.
Likewise, we have grown to today's, like when we acquired Alucop Cables, it was a 100 million turnover company. Today it's a 8 billion rupee turnover company. So we have come up to that level in terms of turnover. Like we have passed many important milestones in our journey. So today, our manufacturing plant in Kaduvela.
Right.
So we are manufacturing the whole range of cables, industrial cables, commercial cables, domestic cables, area bundle conductors, telecommunication cables, the entire range.
Right.
So and also we have a associate company partnered with the Norwegian partners, TNG Lanka,
Right.
where we manufacture patch cables,
Right.
the cable assemblies. So that's how we have come so far.
Great, brilliant. I mean, it's good to see that entrepreneurs like yourself and also those who are governing successful organizations come up to that point where the economy of the country is also backed up by this at the same time. Great to see that. So that's the story of Sierra. What about you? What's your story? Because we understand for a fact that it's not easy to be a CEO right after you graduate or right after you, even though you do work for like many years, it's not easy being there because it's not just the education or the experience or the exposure, it's also the personality. You have to be there to govern an entire company and you have to make decisions on behalf of them. How has it been, the entire story of yours?
Yeah. If I talk about my career, my background, so I started as a banker. I joined HNB about 20 years back.
This was your dream sometimes back?
Yeah, probably I would have had that idea in the beginning to become a banker.
Right.
But after some time, because I didn't get exposed to branch operations much. So throughout I was confined to corporate finance, central accounts and banking services. So so I got exposed to financial accounting, financial management predominantly. So it's a deviation from the banking. So I lost my interest in banking and I decided to pursue my career in the financial management, financial accounting. So that so I decided to become a chartered accountant. So I got qualified in both CIMA and chartered.
Right.
And then I moved out from the bank, and and midway I lost my interest in financial accounting also because I found it to be a little monotonous.
Right.
So I wanted to get involved with operations.
Right.
And I found that to be very interesting.
Because you can look at different facets of the company. Is that
Yes, exactly. So I feel that you feel really motivated, like when you contribute something for the success of the company, like.
Absolutely.
So for that to happen, sir, you have to get involved with the operations. So then so I was able to become a general manager, finance and operations, Sierra Construction, and I was able to head 3 main sectors of the company, and then I was assigned with this task of taking over this Sierra Cables company. So first I was appointed as a deputy CEO, then I was promoted to the CEO position, and then I was made director and CEO of Sierra Industry, which is a fully owned subsidiary of Sierra Cables.
Right.
So then I was able to get exposure in the multiple discipline like financial management, taxation, administration, logistics, supply chain, operations. I think that's really important. Like if someone wants to become if I say a leader, like so then so you have to get involved with operations.
Okay, so let me ask you like a very cross question right here, because a lot of people are these days are inclined to do masters in business administration. Do you think something like that would really add into a goal like this, like yours?
Definitely. So the MBA adds a lot of value to your profile. So if someone wants to become like entrepreneur, like to take over business operations and to bring the company to a certain level, like if you aspire to become part of the success story of a company, yes, definitely it adds value. So the learnings
and the knowledge
is very important there.
Right. So now Sierra Cables being in the cable industry and also many other peripherals, we can also speak about the market, how it is like to be in Sri Lanka, and also now you mentioned about Kenya and also reaching out to other parts of the world. How it is like comparatively between Sri Lanka and abroad?
Yes. It's like this. Now, the productivity wise, we find Kenyan people is at a high level.
Really?
Yeah. So we see women working in construction sites, working in 10 to 15 story buildings. So unlike Sri Lanka, the people wait in the queue in the morning, waiting for some jobs to offer
Are these
with the
like
construction sites.
like per day workers or are
Yeah,
these
casual workers.
casual workers?
Casual workers. So in Sri Lanka now we find it very difficult to find skilled labor
Yeah.
and unskilled labor. It has become a great problem, like for construction companies, even
Yeah.
the manufacturers, like finding skilled labor, unskilled labor even. So it's a difficult task. So in Kenya, so why we decided to move to Kenya, it's like Kenya, in that region, East Africa region is a booming economy, East African whole region.
Right.
It's a strategically important location between West and the East Africa. And so Kenyan government gives preference to local manufacturers always. So so they give the first priority, always local manufacturers get. So it's a promising market, but you can't export cables from here. It's not going to be profitable. So like Toyota company did in Japan, they found it very difficult to gain foothold in UK, so they went to Derbyshire and set up a plant there. Then they became successful. So we also adopted the same model, and we went and set up a plant there. So then we are identified as a company belonging to that national economy. So then we were able to bid for their projects. Mainly we started supplying bare conductors, 75 millimeter, square millimeter and 50 millimeter bare ACSR conductors to Rural Electrification Authority Kenya and Kenya Power and Lighting Company. So they are the two main strategic buyers of our company.
Right.
So we found it to be a promising market, but things have got stagnant a bit these days because of the escalated raw material prices. And unlike here in Sri Lanka, like they actually, like when you bid for projects, you don't get a chance to claim price escalations. So and their prices are not linked to the LME, we call it London Metal Exchange copper prices.
Right.
So it's a fixed formula. Here in Sri Lanka, when we bid for electricity board projects, so the pricing is always linked to the London Metal Exchange price formula.
Okay.
So then as the metal exchange prices, exchange rate changes, with that, so the prices also change. So here we are losing, there we are losing. So so because of that we have got stagnant a bit. Like other than that, in years to come, definitely that part of the region becomes a promising and prospective area.
Right. The statutory body you mentioned about the price control, that brings up another question. Now we see, honestly, if I'm speaking from a consumer's point of view, the cable prices are kind of rocketing, right? And apart from the factors that are governing these prices within the country, does that also assist the fluctuation of the prices of cables, the metal prices in the
Yes, Varuna, it's like this now. When we experienced the first lockdown in the last year April, so immediately the copper prices was actually, the 1 ton was about $5,000. Now it has gone up to 9,500, close to 2,000, almost double.
Wow. Okay.
So in a situation like that, you know what has happened to our exchange rate, like so it has depreciated drastically. So in a situation like that, so invariably, so all the manufacturers will have to increase the prices.
Obviously, yes.
So then the burden will be passed on to the customers. So that's inevitable.
Yeah.
So but I also feel that the government has a major role to play here. So they have lifted the price controls, but now in our business, our main the customer is contracting community.
Right.
Mechanical, electrical and plumbing contractors, we call it MEP contractors. And in the dealer network with domestic cables, our customers are electricians, the electrical shops.
Right. Yes.
So it's a very limited target market,
Absolutely.
not a mass market. So what happens is, like, when we increase cable prices, the contractors construction cost increases.
Increases. Yes.
But at the moment, our MEP contractors are not in a position to claim cost escalation from the main contractors. So in their the contract documents originally, that cost escalation clause is not mentioned for the MEP contractors.
Right.
Of course, the main contractor has that clause with the client. So, but the main governing body of construction companies, like CEDA, we call it, they should have a mechanism, or they should allow even the MEP contractor to include this cost escalation clause in their contracting documents, so that what happens is they are able to claim the cost escalation from the main contractor, then the main contractor so naturally claim it from the client. So otherwise what happens, like, they will ask for discounts from us. So as per system theory, you know that if somebody gains, somebody has to make losses elsewhere. So here the customer only getting victimized in the end.
Absolutely, yes. Well, I'm not criticizing, I'm just asking you because we see, from the customer's point of view, we only see the price increments, but it's good to understand what's governing all this, because rather than just thinking about what's happening within the country, we can also see how it is linked to different other countries and statutory bodies as well, just like that. Right, so we spoke about the growth and of the company and how the price is governed, how your products are also determined. Let's also speak about the future. Now, Sierra Cables is a known brand, also globally, not just locally. When it comes to the future, and also when it comes to strengthening the local economy within the country, what is in the future for the Sierra Cables and the consumers?
We see lot of positives from the government side, because their commitment towards the continuation of the mega construction projects, including Port City, the Bandaranaike International Airport Terminal project, and the expressways. So in the recent budget also, the government has pledged their commitments towards those projects, and so government budget allocations for the water board, like for water projects, as I remember, about 59 billion or 15 billion.
Right.
So that will create opportunities for the construction companies, as well as those who are supplying materials to construction companies. Like so through our Sierra Industries, so we are able to supply UPVC pipes and HDP pipes. So now HDP pipes is the trend in the market. So water board prefers HDP to UPVC because of the low servicing requirements, the flexibility, and the lower reaction to chemicals. So because of that, and we having realized that the market trend and the potential, and because of the encouragement given by the water board, so we also have decided to set up a plant to manufacture HDP, and that will come into operations like next year, with about in 2 months' time.
This is in Sri Lanka.
In Sri Lanka.
Right.
So the government is like planning to, under their Water for All national plan, so they are going to supply drinkable water for the entire population. So that creates a lot of opportunities, and also the government is promoting the renewable energy, that is mainly solar.
Yes.
The wind power also there, biomass, and like that. So but the solar, because they are promoting the solar energy, so that creates opportunities for us, because we are the only ones manufacturing solar cables in-house with stringent SLA certifications and to TUV standards. Those are stringent standards, and we have to comply with the standards. And so locally, we were the first to start manufacturing PV, the photovoltaic cables. All these days, the contractors were importing cables from countries like China, India, Turkey. So now that has created a lot of demand for us. So then we have a dedicated plant for solar cables. So if I talk about solar cables, like according to the surveys conducted, like, so we have 20 million meters capacity. There are 4 manufacturers in the industry.
Right.
So I'm talking about 3 billion market size annually.
Industry within Sri Lanka.
Within Sri Lanka.
4.
So
Okay.
in the cable industry, we mainly find it's few players.
Right. Yeah.
So we are the second largest. If you take the first 2 belong in the same group of companies. So we were the second largest, owning about 25% market share.
Right.
We are not as big as those 2 companies, but in terms of the product portfolio and the quality, we are on par. So we all have to work, produce and comply with the same stringent the specification, technical specifications. Like, we all manufacture to British standards, French standards. So if you take aerial bundle conductors, we manufacture to French standards.
Right.
Industrial cables, domestic cables, we manufacture to British standards.
Cables. Right. So this also confirms the fact that they are in highest quality possible, because you have to always be matching with
the
their
quality, because it's a technical product and we can't take risk. So
That's right.
And recently, in 2018, we introduced fire resistant cables, LSHF, low smoke halogen free cables.
Right.
That's because, again, a trend, like the contractors are always advised to use this low smoke halogen free cables, because they have to make sure the safety for public, especially in high rise buildings.
That's right.
So they are always encouraged to use hazardous free materials in case of a fire. So so we started manufacturing LSHF cables and fire resistant cables. So again, we have to meet the stringent TUV specifications, TUV standards.
Right, like that. Okay. So finally, would you like to say what kind of support, as a manufacturer, as a company, as a CEO of a great company, what kind of support would you like to see from the government side?
The government, the burning issue at the moment, that's the most critical thing at the moment, is importing raw materials.
Right.
Because of the foreign exchange shortages. So we are finding it very difficult to get LCs open to import, because 90% of, I would say 95% of the raw materials come from abroad. So so we actually, in our case, we export only 10% of the total. Total 10% of the total turnover would be about exports. So our export earnings will not be enough to meet our import expenditure. So so I feel there should be support from the government, like at least exporters, hard earning foreign currency, they should be able to convert at realistic rates, so that so we can have some kind of alliance or with the exporters to get our LCs imported.
Right. So these are the problems. This is just one of the issues you want to raise.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much once again, Mr. Harsha Jayatunga, for joining in today. We had a great discussion when it comes to cable industry and also construction industry in total, in terms of how to uplift it and what the issues at the moment that are governing it, and also how it is like to reach out into the future endeavors. Thank you very much for joining in.
Thank you
For this program. And for our viewers, we would like to say good night to you, because we'll be joining in once again next week.